Hello, so we're going to talk today about something on the pitch which is always moving. It's something that England did particularly well at exploiting on Saturday against Wales. It's something that Scotland have found success with during this Six Nations, and it's something that Wales and Italy have both struggled to put a stop to. It's the edge. So what is the edge? Well, let's have a look in this image. The edge is the space outside of the last defender in the defensive line. You can see here this green circle highlighting where that space is. Now, why is that important? Well, if you can get there before the defence can get there, it's easy, free play, free try, often a line break because there's no one left there to defend. Also, if you're trying to get out wide, the defence know that and they will react and they will push out wide, which can leave holes in the middle. So if there's an edge to attack, whether you go and get there first of all or whether you can go through the middle, doesn't really matter. The idea is that you forge that edge and you create that and then you attack it. We're going to build this up with a little bit of an animation. Now, if we just bring this back to the start, we've got our red defence and our white attack, a little bit like on Saturday. So here, our red defence is doing a great job. There's not really any space on the pitch for white to attack. They've lined up neatly next to one another. They're not leaving any massive holes through the middle. There's a little bit of space on the 5 metre, but the white team aren't thinking they can attack that because by the time they get there, the red team will just have drifted over. But white are going to force that edge to open up, and here's how they do it. So first of all, they're going to carry in the middle. Look how that condenses the leg defence immediately because they've got to make that hit. They've got to tighten up around where the ball is, and that creates a bit more of an edge. It's still not massive. Maybe it's 12 metres at this point, so it's not massive, but there is a bit more of an edge opening up there. Then again, white attack up the middle. That again condenses the leg defence and again creates that space out wide. Now white can work around the corner, create that overlap, and then, as you can see, they get more men there and they can finish it off down the edge. So they go from having nothing on, as we can see at the start here, nothing on, to then scoring a try out wide. Well, let's take that into a game, and we're going to look at how the Saints do it here. So let's pause at this point. Is there an edge? Well, yes. We can't see exactly the full pitch, but you can see here that the last Saracens defender is maybe on halfway, and so there's certainly that edge to attack. So they go out the back, they pull wide, and you can see here this winger actually will have been playing at half depth. So the Saracens winger won't be in the defensive line. He will now be rushing up. But you can see this has got me a really difficult spot because there's so much space for Saints to go for. So they attack out wide. They get this break, but they're brought down on the 15. So now they're on one side of the pitch. The edge will be on the far side of the pitch. But let's just pause until we get to this point. And you can see, actually, Saracens are doing a pretty good job defending this because they haven't left a massive edge. There's a couple of guys still ambling back. These are forwards and these are tight 5 forwards. So Saints are going to try and exploit these. But they will be looking out wide and thinking, fair play. Saracens have done well to defend this. They haven't all condensed down the ruck. They've actually done well at keeping that distance and making sure that edge is as far away as possible. So Saints decide to go down the blind side. Again, that does make it a little bit harder to push this edge because it just means that Saracens can take that time. Everyone else out wide doesn't really get involved, so they can just spread this out wide a little bit. But now they're going to go back the other way. They've got all this room to attack. And this is almost exactly what we saw in that animation. One carry to the 15 makes it a lot easier to attack because you've got both sides, and that condenses that Saracens defence. So you can see now the edge is inside of the 15 metres. It's not a massive edge to attack, but it's the beginnings of one. So we can see they're going to attack out wide, but they're not going to go too far. They're just going to clash up in the middle. Again, great carry. Puts all the Saracens on the back foot, and you can see again there's now these holes opening up. In fact, actually the holes are kind of opening up in the middle here, and they get the penalty advantage, which is massively beneficial. So here they've now kind of lost control, Saracens, because they've lost that edge. They've got men running back, they've got too much space, and then they start to create those holes in the midfield. Good tackle in that situation, but this is going to be Saints the building. Again, we can look, where's that edge? Well, they're not going to find it necessarily down there, but they will find some space. But if they come to the near side, there's loads of space out wide. That edge is opened up because Saracens have been condensed on the far side of the pitch. And so that edge opens up and they go right through the middle. Exactly what we spoke about at the start. By trying to find that edge, and we know where that is, it's going to be on the far sides of the pitch. By trying to find that edge, they force Saracens to go out wide, and by going out wide, they've opened up those holes in the middle. So when you're looking at that edge, don't always look at teams running round the outside, which is something England did fantastically well on Saturday, but also look for them going through the middle. As defences look to close down that edge, sometimes they can take their eyes off the ball, move out wide too soon and open up those holes on the inside. If you are coaching kids, a good way to think about this is with that drift defence. Okay, so often young people, when they're attacking, will have tendency to try and run to the edge. So easy to defend. If you run to the edge, unless you're unbelievably quick, the defence will just drift over and the edge is gone. If you run straight, pass, maybe only 2 or 3 passes, you'll realise you'll get to that edge. All the defence have been sucked in because you're running hard, you're running straight, and now there's space out wide. Equally, if you pass and run straight, if the defence start turning and they start going out wide and they show you those soft shoulders, don't pass it, back yourself, run straight through. Thank you.